70% of Americans are overweight, 40% of us are obese. Chronic illness is everywhere. 60% of us have at least one chronic, no, yes, 60% of us have at least one chronic illness. 90% of us have some level of metabolic dysfunction. What if I told you the problem isn't fat? What if I told you the problem is the advice we've been given to avoid fat? Hmm. Hi, I'm Eileen. 3 years ago, I realized I had developed symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. It was to the point where I had to retire early. I did a little research wanting to slow my decline, and instead, I reversed the worst of my symptoms by adopting a clean low carb diet. And that's what I like to talk about here. One of the elements to a clean low carb diet is eating enough natural fat. The trouble is, nobody wants to hear about low carbs, that's for sure. But no one believes me when I tell them they need to eat more fat. But it's the truth. So let's debunk some of the myths around fat. Number one, eating fat makes you fat. We've been told that fat on your plate means fat on your body, but that is not true. The fat that you eat cannot turn into fat in your fat cells. What feeds the fat in your fat cells? Only carbs. What's more, natural fat, like fat from eggs and dairy and meat, helps you feel full. So if you eat enough natural fat, you'll feel full. You won't want to eat more of those carbs that are filling your fat cells. Myth number two, saturated fat causes heart disease. This myth started with research by a fellow named Ansel Keys. If you want the whole story, many people have talked about it. You can go ahead and look it up. He had a theory that saturated fat clogs our arteries and causes heart disease. He presented data, cherry-picked data, and he ignored data that had a stronger correlation with heart disease, smoking. All of which is to say that modern research has completely debunked his theories. Saturated fat is not the enemy. I know, that's hard to believe. People don't want to believe that. I don't know why you don't want to believe that, but it's the truth. Another myth, low-fat diets are healthy. We've been told to adopt low-fat diets. Low-fat has been pushed upon us for as long as I can remember. But low-fat diets rely on seed oils and carbs and questionable additives to make up for the fact that there's no natural fat in the product. And seed oils and processed carbs cause chronic inflammation, which is what leads to chronic disease like heart disease and Alzheimer's and autoimmune disorders and even some cancers. Meanwhile, our brains and our hormones need fat to function. You're starving your brain when you're choosing low-fat products. Please, if you have been afraid of fat, it is time to unlearn these dangerous lies. Have you been avoiding fat? Why? What are you afraid of? Drop a comment in the link below. I'm curious. I'm wondering what is the driving factor today with so much information to the contrary, and yet the public doesn't seem to know. Everything you think you know about fat may be wrong, but that's okay because you can start again today. Thank you for spending a little time with me today. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for sharing it with other fat-phobic friends. And until next time, please stay strong, wise, kind, and good by choosing good food, natural fat food for good health. YouTube thinks you like this video. Next.